Hey everyone, and welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Crystal Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Mr. John Campea is feeling a little bit under the weather today, so joining me is Miss Amy Rose Eisenbach, our associate editor here at AMC. Hey Amy Rose.
Hello, love. How goes it?
It goes. We're sending John lots of well wishes today.
I know. I was looking forward to having, the dream team together, but soon enough.
Fabulous threesome. All right, let's get things started. Now, AMC Movie Talk fans, we were fortunate enough last night to host an advanced screening of Joseph Gordon-Levitt's Don John. We also had the pleasure of speaking with Joseph himself as he came in for an interview with our very own John Campea, and also surprised the audience with a Q&A afterwards. So, Amy Rose, how was the event?
So we won't talk about the film yet because it's not out. We don't want to spoil it, but we think you guys will be more than happy with it. But the event was just so fantastic because Joseph is such a humble, passionate, intelligent, highly intelligent guy. And, it's one thing to respect someone's talent. It's a whole other thing to respect the person. And I really respect what he's about. And he has such an appreciation of all aspects of filmmaking. And, the Q&A and interview with John went incredibly well because he's so real. And you can just feel his passion. And that really translates to the big screen in this way. And, John asked a really insightful question about, why now? And Joe got it. He just wanted to not give up, power, creative control. He has a vision and he doesn't want someone to be like, this was great, but let's change the end. So it really inspired me again. There's moments like that where, I feel like I'm doing what I love and I love being a part of this team. And, movies are my life, film and music, they're my life, but it just, seeing him doing what he loves and just so passionate about it. And, I've mentioned a couple times his Hit Record production company that gives a platform to aspiring artists. I've sent a lot of you wonderful AMC Movie Talk fans that way because, there are so many people with great ideas and passion that have no place to voice them. And he's doing something about that. So it really inspired me just getting a part, being a part of that energy and just hearing him. And he's so humble and he thanked the crowd. And yeah, it really inspired me. And I just realized again that we are the only ones that stand in our own way, my friends. If you have something to show the world, get up and do it. So I'm diving back into that script I've been wanting to finish. So thank you, Joseph, and I hope you all like Don John when it comes out in a couple weeks. Now, Miss Crystal, you were also there. What was your whole opinion of the event?
First of all, the movie's amazing, and I dated that guy, so when you all see it, you're going to feel bad for me, because I totally dated that guy.
You dated Joe?
Yeah, exactly. The thing that I loved about the movie is that it was so much fun, slaps you with a message, and then you have so much fun again. And he did such an amazing job acting, directing that I know everyone's going to love this movie, especially all my friends from the East Coast, because it felt like home. But you said it last night, you tweeted it, that he's such a triple threat, and it's so true because not only is he amazing at acting and directing, and the script was, with the story was amazing, but he's such a genuinely humble person, and I don't think that genuineness comes across as often as I'd like it to. Like, I feel like people don't ever get to see the real him, and it was so great, and I hope everyone checks out the interview that John did because it was amazing, and he is such a humble, genuine person, and you can tell that this was such a passion project of his that it came through on every level. So it was awesome, and I want everyone to go see it.
Yes, and no, we didn't ask him about Robin, guys, so sorry.
Well, as we reported a couple months ago, director Roland Emmerich said that Will Smith would not be returning for his Independence Day sequel. He stated Will Smith cannot come back because he's too expensive, but he'd also be too much of a marquee name. It would be too much. He hinted, however, that the return of Bill Pullman and Jeff Goldblum was very likely. Now, in a recent interview, Emmerich said the following about Smith's potential involvement. I sometimes say no. Will Smith will not be in it because he didn't want to do it at first. Now we have a meeting planned. We want to talk about it again. Anything can happen. Amy Rose, what do you make of the news, and would you like to see Will Smith in the sequel?
Of course, Emmerich, now that he's maybe on board. I find this so hilarious with directors. It's like, he's too big of a marquee name. Like, he doesn't fit in with this production. That's because he didn't want to be a part of it, my friend. And now, just as we talked about a couple months ago, as I pointed out, you'd be singing a different tune, Emmerich, if he was on board, wouldn't you? Well, seems to be backtracking a little bit. I think this is great for the franchise. I've always made it very known that, myself personally, I'm able to separate what someone does in their personal life with their professional life. We've heard all this fuss about Will Smith being, hard to work with or demanding too much money and all this, but forgetting all of that, I love him as an actor. He's so charismatic. He's really talented. He can do serious. He can do dramatic. And, this kind of started his career. I mean, this was a really big, sure, he was in a couple big films before that, but this was the one where people are like, yes. And, Jeff Goldblum and Bill Pullman and the rest of the cast, they were great, but Will Smith is a really big part of that puzzle, and I would be really, really happy to see him come back because, that's how I feel about sequels, especially over a decade later. If you have the original pieces, the director, hopefully the writer, and the main actors, then it can really feel like a sequel, and you can continue the story and, however you decide to fast forward it. So I, as an actor, I love Will Smith. He's wonderful, and I've interviewed him for After Earth, a film that got slammed, and I really didn't think it was that bad. And I just think, M. Shamhammer, as John so lovingly calls him, just everything around that caused it to slam, and people thought it was a bait and switch and all that, but he's wonderful. I loved my interview with him. He's so charming and professional. I mean, in these junkets, you guys, I don't know how familiar you are with the format, but these actors are in there for hours, and sometimes they hear the same exact question. And for a classy guy like Smith to pretend like it's the first time he heard it and really convey that passion and enthusiasm again and again and make you feel like you asked the greatest questions. I mean, my questions were good, but I'm just saying, a lot of the times they're redundant. So I'm just saying he's a class act, at least to work with from that perspective. And I would really like to see him return to this franchise. And so would you, Emmerich. Apparently he's not too big of a marquee name now, huh, bub? What do you think, Chris Lee? Would you like to see him back?
I love Roland Emmerich, and I got to interview him during White House Down, and he's such an amazing guy. And when I saw that first interview about Will Smith not coming back and the marquee name, I kind of felt like Roland was just in a position to say, everyone was asking, why not Will Smith? Why not Will Smith? And he didn't want to badmouth them. He didn't want to say, he doesn't want to be a part of it. He wanted to make it the production's fault and not Will Smith's fault, which I kind of respect a little bit from Roland. But I would love to see Will Smith back. I love Will Smith. I respect him as a person. I respect him as an actor. I think that he's amazing. I love that he is kind of out of the spotlight when he's not in the spotlight, if you know what I mean. But I think that they were such a great team. I loved the first film. I'm super excited for a sequel because I do love Roland Emmerich. His films, to me, are the 80s blockbusters with stuff blowing up and lots of action, and I turn into a little boy, and I love it. So I'm super excited. And you
can be a little girl and like those things, too, just saying. And, yeah, you know what you're getting with Emmerich. It's over-the-top, fun productions, good special effects, and it's a great popcorn flick, and I love my popcorn, so.
Yes, so hopefully Will Smith will be back.
Oh, sorry.
The final trailer has been released for Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. Director James Cameron had this to say about the film. I was stunned, absolutely floored. I think it's the best space photography ever done. I think it's the best space film ever done. And it's the movie I've been hungry to see for an awful long time. What is most interesting is the human dimension. Alfonso and Sandra working together to create an absolutely seamless portrayal of a woman fighting for her life in zero gravity. Amy Rose, what does it mean for a director like Cameron to sing such praises for Cuarón's film?
It just reinforces everything we've seen and heard. I believe this is still holding at 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. And, wow. Sure, not a lot of people have seen it, so that obviously changes. But the thing I do like about Rotten Tomatoes is it aggregates so many different people's opinions. And that's what I think makes it, opposed to just reading one critic. Now, Cameron has done so much for filmmaking. Sure, he's, lost in Avatar land for a long time now. But The Terminator, True Lies, Aliens, Titanic, even Avatar, he constantly pushes filmmaking and the technology surrounding it and the way we come to learn and be a part of these immersive, rich, deep, complex worlds. He's a brilliant filmmaker. And, I did like Avatar. I do not think that the story was so compelling. It was Ferngully Lost Rainforest, and that was better. But I do think for what he did for technology and, again, for the world and just feeling like there were butterflies flying past my head and the tree and just the details were amazing. So I definitely think as a filmmaker, and Alfonso, he, again, is another one of those. I mean, Children of Men was a haunting, brilliant film. I mean, he has so many films like that where it just, you know, he has a lot to say about social commentary, and he also just, as a filmmaker, his shots are so calculated and beautiful. And this new trailer of Gravity, I mean, it did give us some more footage, which I'm really happy about. A lot of the times they just release a couple other scenes and you're like, all right, but this did kind of go into the inner workings, crazy, intense, terrifying situation. Talk about my biggest fear. I mean, you're in, not that I think I'm going to get lost in space or anything, but just being completely, well, you never know, but isolated in, you know, just this abyss. And there's another good Cameron film, The Abyss. But I really think that, yeah, everything I've seen and heard, and it just looks beautiful. And that opening, I believe it was a 10 or 17-minute shot. It's just one sequence. And, you know, Sandra Bullock, I mean, I really love her as an actress, and I'm happy that she continues to do more dramatic, you know, ever since Academy Award, The Blind Side. Ever since she did that, I mean, she's showing, I mean, she did 28 Days. She's done a lot of amazing films where she shows that dramatic side and range. And I think this is going to be a really cool thing. A lot of people are going to be really terrified about, and Alfonso's the man to do it, and Cameron gives the thumbs up. I'm really excited about this. What did you think of the trailer?
You know, it's funny because watching Gravity and seeing it and talking about it the last couple months, this is a film I would have never gone to see 8 years ago, ever. And I'm a huge Sandra Bullock fan. I love her work. I love what she does. I would have never gone to see this film. But now I feel like doing movies and being passionate about it and filmmaking and knowing what it takes to see the trailer today and to see those images. Everyone has to go see this movie just for the pure fact of it's in space. I mean, clearly they didn't really go to space, but the fact that they're going to take us on this journey in space and it looks so good. You have to go see this film just because it's going to be absolutely beautiful. And I'm super excited about that because it's something that, like I said, 10 years ago, I would have never wanted to see. And now I'm actually really excited about this movie about space.
Good. I'm so happy to hear it. All right, my friends, we have now reached the buy or sell portion of our show. The lovely Miss Chrisley is going to read off a couple other items going on in the world of movie news. And we're simply going to say if we buy or sell it. And I want your input too here, my lady, since I'm rolling solo today, all right?
You will get it. All right. 2 new posters have been released for the highly anticipated Thor: The Dark World. The first posters features the baddie, Malekith, front and center, played by Christopher Eccleston. The second is an international poster featuring Thor, played by Chris Hemsworth, and Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman. Amy Rose, buy or sell these new posters?
All right. I'm going to buy baddie, my main man, Malekith, the Accursed. I mean, that is a really cool poster, and I'm really excited, hopefully, about him and Loki's partnership. We'll see. Dark Elves. I mean, it's a really cool poster. It's exactly one I want to see front and center. Now to the international poster. I love me some Chris Hemsworth. I love me some Natalie Portman. I like them both, but that poster, Jane Foster's face, is hilarious. It's like, it's just, no, guys, did you actually put this through some revisions or what? I'm going to sell that one. I was really not happy with that one. You know, Chris Hemsworth looking good as Thor as always, but her face, she looks waxy. It's just, it's not a good poster, but I really like Malekith's. So it's a split one for here. What did you think?
I actually agree with you 100%. I am totally buying the Malekith poster. I love seeing a new character. I love seeing the makeup and the costume looks amazing. I'm so excited for this movie. And I'm totally selling the international poster. And for me, Jane looks constipated. Like, it's terrible. I hate to say that, but it's such a terrible picture of her. And that is the only reason why I'm selling it. So,
and she's a babe. So come on, guys. Don't make Portman look bad. Nobody puts Portman in the corner.
No. Magneto himself, Sir Ian McKellen, is set to play a retired Sherlock Holmes in A Slight Trick of the Mind. Reuniting with his Gods and Monsters writer and director Bill Condon, the film will follow Holmes as he is haunted by an unsolved case from 50 years ago, which he can only remember fragments of. Amy Rose, buy or sell McKellen in A Slight Trick of the Mind?
buy. Also, McKellen in almost everything. He is so wonderful. And Sherlock Holmes, I mean, I love detective spy things. And, like, he's obviously one of the most famous ones we have. And I just think this is going to be really interesting. Now, I totally rewatched this movie that most of you probably have never heard of. And I think you should check it out because it's amazing. And it's called Cold Comfort Farm. Now, the reason I bring that up is Sir Ian McKellen is in it. He plays this mad preacher, and Kate Beckinsale. This is one of her first films, and it's oddball and quirky and fascinating, and I just rewatched it like a month ago, and I love it. And again, I think it's one of those little indie flicks that definitely came and went. Rufus Sewell's in it as well. It's great. It's fantastic and very original. Check it out, Cold Comfort Farm. Side note.
Ian, how do you not buy Ian McKellen in anything? I feel like everything he's been in, he's always been amazing in it. So I totally buy it. And I, unlike most of the world, liked all of the Sherlock Holmes films. So for me, just another film about a Sherlock Holmes is a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's not that I didn't. Like, I just love Guy Ritchie so much, and I loved his earlier work more. The Snatch, The Lock, Stocks, Rock and Rolla. So, to me, the first Sherlock, because he set the bar so high for himself, it disappointed me a little, but then I went in with more managed expectations, and my second viewing, I liked it more. Mark Strong alone as the bad guy, and we all love Robert Downey Jr., and I thought he had great chemistry with Watson with, what's-his-face? Who played Watson? Why am I blanking on his name? Come on, girl. All right, anyway. But Jude Law, I got it. But yeah, I definitely liked it more the second viewing. I just think that's what happened when you set the bar so high for yourself. I love his earlier work, but I still thought it was a solid film. But Sherlock Holmes content, oh yeah. All right,
ready.
What's next?
Zack Snyder and team are apparently on the lookout for a new love interest for Ben Affleck's Batman for their Man of Steel 2. According to reports, the project is seeking a woman in her late 20s of any ethnicity, and it specifies that she must be tall and possess physicality. That's me. Amy Rose by herself these early reports and description of a new female lead.
That's me too, girl. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're right. 5'4". What's up? I'm going to buy this. And this is the first little glimmer of hope that maybe it's an Amazonian princess that we could be looking for. I mean, if we could introduce Diana Prince, Wonder Woman in this would be the perfect link to a Justice League movie, the perfect segue to it. And I would love that so much. But it could also mean, Vicky Vale, Julia Madison. Like, there's so many other characters. I don't think it will be Selena Kyle, Catwoman, because we just saw her in The Dark Knight Rises, and Nolan did such a fantastic job, in my opinion, with Anne Hathaway. So I don't think it will be her, but it could definitely be some of the other ladies I mentioned. But my biggest hope would be that it would be Wonder Woman. And then it wouldn't be just, an introduction of this new love interest for Batman. It would actually, map out the DC universe moving forward and give us hope that DC is going to rise to the occasion and really show Marvel what's up. So I'm really hoping, since Marvel's been doing such a fantastic job. And one more note, can we talk about what Pimp Daddy Bruce Wayne's about to be? Ben Affleck is 41, looking for a lady in his 20s. Not bad, my man, not bad.
You have to buy this, and I have to say, I don't think it's going to be Wonder Woman. I would really like to get my hopes up. I just don't think it's going to be Wonder Woman. But what this gives me hope is that they are thinking that direction. They are thinking of more, of expanding the universe, of doing a bigger and better Justice League. So it gets me really excited that if they're looking for a love interest for Batman, they're looking at 3-4 more films. So for me, that's super exciting, and it's a total buy.
Yeah, I definitely think. And, another thing on Vicky Vale, it could be really interesting to use her as kind of a contrast to Lois Lane, since she was also a journalist. So I think that could be a really interesting character. Obviously, I'm holding out for Wonder Woman, but I agree it might not be yet. But I think Vicky could be an interesting one to give that really cool contrast, especially since it's Batman versus Superman. So we shall see. All right, my friends, we have now reached mailbag time. Miss Chrisley has a couple of your user-submitted questions picked out. What made you interested today, my dear?
Well, Doc Irvin writes, "Hey guys, I've been a big fan of the show since stumbling across it a few months ago. Keep up the great work. My question is, do you think that the upcoming movie Filth, starring James McAvoy, will hurt his squeaky clean Professor X, Mr. Tumnus image? I'm a huge fan of Irvin Welsh's material and of James McAvoy, so I'm really looking forward to this film. As always, keep living the dream and having a great day."
Thank you for the question, darling. So I don't know if you ever saw Danny Boyle's Trance, but he was certainly not squeaky clean in that. There are definitely a lot of twists and turns, so I don't want to reveal too much about his character. But McAvoy has shown edge. I mean, I wouldn't really call it edge and wanted, but he did, kind of beef up near the end and turn a little more badass.
Yes.
But I don't think he's too concerned about that. And, he's great as Professor X, but an actor should never be thrown in a little box and typecast like that. And I think McAvoy has shown us enough of his range now to not do that. And, he's a very, very talented actor, but I definitely recommend Trance. Danny Boyle is a phenomenal director. Talk about a director who has literally done every single genre and not being typecast. He does it all, and he does it all brilliantly well. But yeah, Trance is a way you've not seen McAvoy before, it sounds like, and I'm really looking forward to Filth. It sounds really cool. The material's great, as you mentioned. So yeah, I don't think we need to worry about it, though. He's a good actor. What do you think, lady?
Always good to show range. In this business, there's constantly new people coming in and out. There's millions of people that live here where we live all trying to break in. So I feel like as an actor, you have to show range. You have to be able to try different things. And he's really good at it. So I feel like there's no getting any image away from him because he's just going to show us that he can do it all. And I'm excited for it. A. Muniz writes, "Hey everyone at AMC. So a few days ago, I heard that Charlie Sheen would play young Uncle Ben in flashbacks to Peter's family history, and I wanted to know if it's true or not. I would actually like it because it makes sense to me that they would go for someone who looks like Martin Sheen since it's his dad. What do you think?"
Thank you for the question. Yeah, I like it. You mean Carlos Estevez? I'm so excited that they're introducing him that way in Machete Kills. I think that is going to be really funny. And, sure, we all know that Charlie went a little bit off his rocker, but that does not mean he's not a phenomenal talent. He's a really good actor. He's done a lot of great films. I mean, I totally forgot he was in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And I rewatched that recently, too, and he was in that scene, and he's just got one of those faces. And, in 2.5 Men, he played himself. He was Charlie. But he's very likable. He's very charismatic, and I do like keeping it in the family, and I think you made an excellent point. It would look like him, and I'm about to reveal a spoiler for those who don't know the fate of Uncle Ben. Don't listen, but I also rewatched, apparently I've been watching a lot of movies lately, what's new? But I recently rewatched The Amazing Spider-Man again because I'm getting really excited talking about the next installments. And every time Uncle Ben dies, crushes my heart. I know it's coming. I know it's leading up to it. And I just hate it. It's such an awful way. And that poor Peter Parker has had an awful life. So I'm really not happy about that. But I do think Charlie would be good to keep in the family and get those flashbacks. And I'm so excited for this franchise to keep going. I love Sam Raimi's films, and I really liked Mark Webb's film, and I think that I'm really excited that he's going to be introducing some new characters, and it's really showed, the darker, grittier side of this origin story, because Peter Parker's a sad character. He's got a lot of elements of that, but he also, rises up through the ashes and becomes this badass superhero. So I definitely, I like that idea. Thanks for the question. What do you think, lady?
I think it's a great idea. I love Charlie Sheen, and I'm still in the camp that he did not go crazy. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he did it for a reason. That's my decision. Sticking to it. But I think he is a great actor. I think we've seen him do a lot of really fun things. I think he's, somebody that would bring something to the table. And like you said, his dad is there, so why not? The casting would be perfect, and it would make a lot of sense. And I mean, it's Spider-Man. How can you not get excited for it?
Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Yeah, I'm I'm excited about it. And no, nobody doubts his intelligence. Like, whether he was going eccentric for all show, like you're predicting, or what, he definitely knows how to market his brand well. And yeah, so it's really good. So excellent points. All right, my friends, thank you so much for joining the lovely Chrisley and myself. We always have fun when you keep us company. Thank you for jumping on, Miss Chrisley, and we miss our Campia, but hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. Rest up, John. You know the deal. Follow, post, subscribe, share. We really appreciate your support, and we could not do it without you. Miss Chrisley, where could people find ya?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chrisley.
And I'm on the various social networks at Amy Rosie. And thanks again for your support. Until next time, I'm Amy Rose with AMC Movie News. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks.